What's up, Taiwan? I'm Reece Ayers with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. More Chinese-made devices have been discovered at Taiwan's military bases. As Chris Gorin reports, the government's policy of avoiding Chinese parts in military hardware has been a challenge.
A new audit by the Defense Ministry's Armaments Bureau has found that hundreds of Chinese-made power inverters are being used on several of Taiwan's military bases. It also found on-base network routers and data readers made by Chinese companies. The inverters were first discovered by opposition lawmaker Huang Guochang during a visit to a military base. He says the use of Chinese-made parts on these bases violates the terms of government contracts and raises serious national security concerns.
这件事情非同小可，其他的地方还有没有？全面彻查，严肃的追究责任，不要想放水。
The Defense Ministry says it's asked suppliers and contractors to immediately remove equipment with Chinese-made parts and is looking into potential breach of contract charges. But the accusations don't stop there. Another opposition lawmaker has raised concerns about dashboard cameras in military officials' cars.
我们很多将军的坐车，目前的这个行车记录器也是 Made in China。国军应该要检查一下他们的行车记录器是不是用贴牌的。
Security experts say that the military's dashcams are typically connected to isolated private networks, but could be compromised if connected to other Wi-Fi networks. These latest cases come as other Chinese-made products are discovered in Taiwan's military equipment. Earlier this year, the military revealed that some rocket fuel powder and electrical components in Taiwan's domestically made missiles were also sourced from China. As China's military pressure on Taiwan grows, the country will continue to face the challenges of ensuring a China-free defense supply chain. Delphine Chen and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
The new head of a cross-strait organization has been released on bail over a long-running corruption case. Zheng Wencan was recently named chair of the Straits Exchange Foundation, set up to handle business matters with China. He's also a former vice premier and former mayor of Taoyuan. Prosecutors wanted him held incommunicado over a land development project case going back to 2015. But the court granted bail of $150,000 US. Zheng says he did not violate the law. His foundation and the presidential office say they will respect the judicial process. A campaign to recall the mayor of Keelung has turned in their petitions, confident they have enough signatures to call a vote. Mobilizing the masses to oust a mayor. A citizen group in the northern city of Keelung is going ahead with efforts to recall their mayor, Xie Guoliang, after months of campaigning. They're accusing him of incompetence and abuse of power, and of mismanaging a handover of the city's most popular mall. The petition needs just under 31,000 signatures to pass at the second stage, representing 10% of the local electorate. And despite being asked to clarify some discrepancies in the 43,000 names they submitted on July 5th, the group is confident they'll reach the threshold.
要被淘汰到需要补件的件数，其实要一次淘汰掉14000件的。那对于这个件数，我们是完全不担心，我们相信可以一次就通过。
If the signatures are accepted, the city's election commission will be forced to hold a recall vote within 60 days. A simple majority in that vote would remove Xie from office. But some of his supporters are questioning the legitimacy of the petition.
虽然罢免是人民的权利，但希望这次是最后一次程序松散的罢免联署，是否会继续专注施政？
High-profile mayoral recalls have happened before. The current Speaker of Taiwan's legislature, Han Kuo-yu, was removed as mayor of Kaohsiung in 2020, after failing to convince the public he could handle his duties while also running for president. And if the citizens of Keelung are able to correct the discrepancies in their petition, Mayor Xie may face a similar fate. Masoud and Reece for TaiwanPlus. The top American diplomat in Taiwan, Sandra Audkirk, has officially finished her 3-year term and said goodbye.
As I prepare to depart, I am convinced to the core of my being that the future is bright for the United States and Taiwan, and we will continue to do great things together. 天下没有不散的宴席，但台湾永远在我心中占据一个特别的位置。谢谢台湾。
Audkirk served as director of the de facto US Embassy, the American Institute in Taiwan, since 2021. She was the first woman to hold the position. Earlier this week, the Foreign Ministry presented her with a diplomacy medal for her work to enhance US-Taiwan relations. Audkirk's former deputy, Raymond Green, will take over as the new director of AIT. With almost 30 countries taking part in the world's largest naval drills, known as RIMPAC, analysts say it's an opportunity to demonstrate unity against a common threat. For more on this, our reporter Jaime Okan spoke to David Santoro, CEO of the Pacific Forum, a think tank in Honolulu that specializes in international security.
I want to jump in straight to this exercise. You know, this RIMPAC drill. You know, all these countries participating. I want to just first start off with the importance of it. Why is this exercise important, both for the United States and also for the other countries taking part in these drills in Hawaii?
So I would say two reasons. One is it's critical because it helps get visibility to what the United States and its allies can do when they actually cooperate militarily. And visibility is important because that's how you show what you can do and change potentially the calculus of your adversaries. It's number one. And then number two, as you're training, you actually learn to do more and to be, in this case, more military interoperable with the countries that you're working with. Mm-hmm. So, you know, there's an ally component to it and there's a competitors component to it.
You talked about interoperability. For our viewers, can you kind of explain what does that mean when you, in terms of a military to military interactions?
So working better together, working and using tools and capabilities in a way that makes sense if you're different countries. So how can we work together using different tools and capabilities in a way that will have the maximum effect? So, and that's a key part of the way we do business, if I may use those terms. But typically, there's a specific language on how this is done. So it does matter.
Most of the countries participating in RIMPAC are from the Indo-Pacific region, but a handful of them are also from Europe. Could this be a trend where we see European countries expand their presence in Asia?
Absolutely. In fact, every time I'm in Europe, you see European countries paying attention to what is going on in the Indo-Pacific. They want to learn what's going on. They are also increasingly concerned about the so-called China challenge. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is you have European countries that have vested interests and a presence in the Indo-Pacific, both in the Indo and the Pacific, and that's particularly the case of the UK and France. So yes, they want to do more and learn more about the Indo-Pacific, but they've also, some of them have been in the region for a long time, and therefore operating in the region is natural for them.
Now this year, the Philippines did not send a naval ship to RIMPAC. Local media in the Philippines are citing strained resources and because of the situation with China in the South China Sea. And also, Taiwan has not been invited yet again. What does this say about the commitment from and to these allies if the two countries most affected by China's increasing pressure are not being represented?
Well, I think they're very busy as it is. There's active tension, certainly for the Philippines, also for Taiwan, but it's very active in the Philippines. So I think what it says is that the allies that can actually contribute resources to military exercises can do that here. I think you'll see an increase of Taiwan participation, not in terms of seeing what's going on in military exercises. You'll see a lot more activity and words from allies voicing support to defending Taiwan if something is happening. So that's going to change, and it has been changing for a long time. But there's still a number of things that haven't been done. And frankly, I worry that what we're doing now is not sufficient and not fast enough to respond to the problem of as I mentioned, the challenge posed by China.
That was our reporter Jaime Okan speaking to David Santoro, CEO of the Pacific Forum in Honolulu. Stay tuned to TaiwanPlus for more coverage of the RIMPAC exercises in Hawaii. In Iran's presidential election, Reformist candidate Masoud Pezeshkian has won about 54% of the vote in a second-round runoff, beating his ultra-conservative opponent, Saeed Jalili. Pezeshkian is a former heart surgeon who previously served as Iran's health minister. He's known for his moderate stance toward the West and for condemning government violence against popular protests in 2009 and 2022. The snap election in Iran was called after former President Ebrahim Raisi died in a helicopter crash in May. The president has some power in Iran, but the highest affairs of state are controlled by its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Higher summer electricity bills and produce prices continue to drive up Taiwan's consumer price index. The index, which measures the average price of consumer goods, rose to 2.42% in June, a 4-month high. The figure continues to surpass the government's 2% inflation warning mark. Price drops for some items, like eggs, milk and toilet paper, have slightly offset the increase. Taiwanese authors are taking center stage at a literary festival in Europe. The Czech Republic and Slovakia are holding their 25th annual Authors Reading Month Festival. Taiwan is the first Asian country to be featured as the guest of honor. Over the next month, 31 Taiwanese writers will share their works across 5 cities. The first was novelist Li Ang, who gave a reading at the opening ceremony and shared her thoughts on the festival.
很多时候，因为台湾过去的不被重视很少有机会能够受到比较多的注视。我们通常是那个人家不知道台湾在哪里，然后被冷落的。所以这一次捷克的朋友愿意跟我们做这么大的活动，老实说，一开始的时候我觉得，哇，这简直是不可思议。
Indigenous communities in southeast Taiwan have been passing down traditional fishing practices for generations. But declining fish numbers are threatening their customs. Wesley Lewis looks at how these communities are fighting to preserve traditions by equipping their youth with cultural and environmental knowledge.
These teenagers in southeastern Taiwan are keeping a centuries-old fishing custom alive. Every July, 7 indigenous Amis communities in Taidong come together to hold a coming-of-age festival, where elders teach the next generation how to fish with traditional bamboo cages.
我们大人可以带小孩子看生态，给他们生态，又教他们。
But this year, they've struggled to catch any fish.
有没有鱼？
The elders say they've seen a dip in the numbers of fish in the nearby Beinan River. That's why this year, the local government has hired conservationists to teach the teenagers about the area's ecology and the things that threaten it.
鱼类的一个捕捞，可能因为太过度了之后，然后导致了本身在我们现在卑南溪在鱼类的一个本身的一个数量种类上面呢，有一些相对的一个降低的情况。
The conservationists say it's important for young people to learn how to conserve the area's local fish and remove invasive species.
只有认识了在地的原生种跟外来种，他们以后在记忆或者是在猎捕的过程，才有办法去判断这件事情。
This year marks the 10th anniversary of the Joint Amis Coming of Age Festival, and it's the first time that matters of conservation have been part of the ceremony. The hope is that the next generation will not only be equipped with the skills to fish in the traditional way, but also know how to look after the local river ecosystem. John Su and Wesley Lewis for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with images of the opening of the 2024 Hot Air Balloon Festival in eastern Taiwan's Taidong County. I'm Reece. Take care, and we'll see you next time.